Nation.
Let's go, baby.
Let's go. Welcome into DNVR Buffs Primetime. We are presented by Illegal Pete's, everyone's go-to spot for burritos, buddies, and beers. What's up, man?
Not much. I'm hopped up on coffee.
Yeah. I can imagine. You drink a tall coffee almost every day.
If I was Sean Payton, I might just start slinging arrows at people for no reason.
That's Coach Prime's guy. Leave him alone, man.
It's true. Actually, those are Coach Prime's words. Leave my guy alone.
Yep. Love it. What's up, chat? How's everyone doing? We're turning the page today. We're looking ahead to USC. But first, in yesterday's well-off, the message that we got from Coach Prime yesterday's presser was the truth shall set you free. And we got a little bit of context and reached the people yesterday.
Yeah, and first of all, anyone who is a well-off regular thought to themselves while watching that, one, this is short.
Yep.
Two, why is it short? Because there's no Coach Prime speech in it.
Mm-hmm.
So then you watch Reach the People, and in the Reach the People clip, Darius included Coach Prime saying, cameras, get out of here. And then later in the Reach the People video, you get a little more context as to why the cameras had to get out of there. Because Coach Prime had, whether it was himself or the assistant coaches, and a mix of both, I assume, reveal what their scouting report would be for their own players if they were playing against them. Obviously, every week these guys get to hear what these coaches think of their opponents. And I think this was a genius tactic to tell these guys, here's what we would be saying if we were playing us. Here's what we would say about you. And Zay said, hey, man, if that's what my opponents are saying about me, I got to get better.
Yep.
And clearly that was the goal here, right? Is to show these guys, hey, these are your weaknesses. These are what are trying to be exploited. This is why we lost to Oregon the way that we did, because they knew this about you guys. So this is what we have to get better at. And I just love that, man. That is top tier, elite, psychological coaching.
I love it as well. I don't think enough value is placed into the scouting and what you need to do in that to get a handle on what your opponent's going to do. But to be able to turn it on yourself and to self-scout and do that brutally honestly, I'm sure there were a lot of guys who were maybe taken aback. I mean, maybe slightly offended with what they heard, but truth hurts.
Yeah, and that was, something Darius asked to Zay was like, how do you keep from taking that personally? And it's like, I don't think you can take anything personally after you lose by 36 points.
Yep.
You have to look in the mirror, right?
Right.
And that's what this was. This is a look in the mirror, from the coaches, from the players, from everyone. And a lot of people have been getting upset over like things that Coach Prime does that normal people do, being overhyped. I haven't heard of this one. Now, self-scouting is a real thing that everyone does. But using a team meeting to roll out what the coach's scouting report would be of their own players, I'm sure it's been done. I'm not saying this is the first time it's ever been done, but it's not common. And I think that everyone has to look in the mirror and say, what do I have to do differently? And this is a great way to bestow that information upon the players.
For sure. I mean, I love the honesty, and it's how you get better, really. You get better not by, honing in on your strengths. You get better on working on your weaknesses and rounding yourself out as a player to where you have as little area for the other team to pick on and try to expose as possible. You
know who they should have had do the scouting report?
Who?
That guy from TikTok. Now he's all over Twitter too. Who, he's the...
Joey?
I don't know. No, the guy who does the scouting. He does the film sessions.
Oh, yeah.
That would have been the best special guest yet.
Yep.
Bring him in and have him in there. He's all...
And he would have been honest, too.
He's all, here's Jenkins coming up for the tackle. I'm just going to piss down my leg.
Yep. That guy's great. Javon Antonio and Omarion Cooper spoke after practice today. They were both kind of short. Those are both on our YouTube video, on our YouTube channel. But they both talked about it and were asked about it, what needs to change. Javon said the tempo needs to return on offense. That's something Shedeur has harped going back to July. You can't get tempo
when you don't move the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, that one was hard to watch, man. because they weren't able to get anything going.
Yep.
And it's the same thing. I talked about this on the Denver Sports Report or the Denver Sports Podcast yesterday, which I know you guys got off on the wrong foot with that podcast. But if you want to hear more of me talking about the Buffs, you can go listen to that. It's on the channel.
Yesterday's is DNVR Buffs approved.
Yeah, exactly. There was some doubt, and it made for a good conversation.
Yeah.
Anyways, what I said is like that rhythm thing was at its worst this last game, but it's also why they got a slow start against Colorado State and a slow start against Nebraska.
Yep.
They have not been able to get any rhythm. Unfortunately, they didn't get any rhythm ever in this game, of course. And it really starts with the first 2-3 play calls from Sean Lewis of a series. Mm-hmm. The only way that you can get this thing going is if you get that first down. So you can't like run out after the TV timeout and get tempo.
Right, yeah.
You got to get tempo after you move the football.
Yeah, you got to establish it.
Right, exactly. So hopefully they can get that going.
Yeah, hopefully. Omari Cooper was talking about the adversity scene. He had the quote of the day. Someone asked him if he's been starstruck at all by all the celebrities who have come to see you.
So great.
And he goes, seeing Coach Prime.
They said, have you had any, what was the word? Have you had any starstruck moments? Yeah. Has there been a moment that you were starstruck? He said, yeah, seeing Coach Prime.
And then he was asked, who was your favorite celebrity you've seen so far? Coach Prime. Yep. That's all he says.
In between there was, what about Warren Sapp? What about T.O.? He's like, yeah, that was cool too.
Yep. I love it, man.
I want to talk about that.
Go ahead.
Because there's a lot of things that Coach Prime is doing that can be replicated, right? Mm-hmm. You can bring in someone to record everything and post everything. You can post more on social media. You can bring Lambos to your recruit photo shoots. Right. There's things that he is doing that can and will be stolen. That cannot be replicated.
Yep.
The reverence that Coach Prime's players have for him cannot be replicated. You can't do it. It doesn't matter if you're Lincoln Riley. It doesn't matter if you're Nick Saban. It doesn't matter if you're anyone. Like, Saban's probably the closest one.
Right.
I don't even think he gets that. Mm-hmm. Do you think any players ever said they were starstruck by him?
I mean, maybe a bit, but not to the degree of Coach Prime, though, dude.
So the best is the only one who can even get there. Like, Lincoln Riley, great coach.
Sure.
Dude's like putting a number one pick out there every year.
Yeah.
I don't think players say that about him.
Well,
so that there are certain things about Coach Prime that you can replicate, certain things that you just never can.
Right. I mean, for 99% of the coaches in the nation, you walk into a player's living room and it's kind of like, all right, business, let's hear the pitch, let's go over it all. Coach Prime walks in, it's like, wow, you're right in front of me right now.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, let's look ahead to USC. The Buffs, again, 21.5-point underdogs. Is it 21.5? I know it came out
24.
Originally at 27.
Okay, let me look.
I saw it at 21.
Checking out our friends over at DraftKings Sportsbook.
Yeah, let them know. We'll talk about them a little bit later. But obviously, they've got an uphill battle to climb. This time they're at home, though. And they're going to have the advantage of the altitude. They're going to have advantage of the crowd. Just being in your own surrounding. But this is a different team than Oregon in many ways. 21.5. So
that's
there you
come
go.
down significantly.
I know. It opened at 27.5, I know I saw. But this is a different type of challenge that they're going to have this week. Do you want to start off with what you think's different?
Well, let me just start here. You're playing at home.
Yes.
That changes so much. Big credit to Oregon. I'd actually love to. Hopefully, we get Coach Hart on the pregame show on Friday.
Yeah.
Because I want to hear what he thinks about Oregon's atmosphere.
Right.
Because he's kind of been. We've been going back and forth about atmosphere with him. But from everything I've heard, even going back to the old NCAA football games where it ranked.
Yep.
Like Autzen was always way up there.
Oh yeah.
In terms of the toughest places to play, the toughest road environments, and you'd be on there and you'd get up to the line and the whole camera's shaking and everything.
The routes are shaking and stuff. Yeah.
So that is a extremely difficult place to play, and when you go to a place like that and you get punched in the mouth early, that's even harder, right? Because the fans, first of all, those fans there's real vitriol for Colorado and Coach Prime.
Yes.
And you can see it after the game, man. They won by 36 points, and they're walking off, and people are still yelling at them. Like,
you could see it at TCU.
Yeah.
Week 1.
Yeah, so, like, there's real, anger in the way that these fans are cheering, and you could feel it on the TV broadcast. You can see it in all the videos. So, like, you go down 7-0, boom, they're louder. 14-0, it's louder. 21-0, it's louder. It's a really hard place to get out of. Like, it's just that's what home field advantage is all about. So you come now back home where everyone is upset-minded. Everyone is behind you. And you have the opportunity to do the opposite thing. Can you imagine how loud it would be in Folsom Field if the Buffs went up 14-0 early on USC?
It'd be just like what we saw against Oregon.
Yes. So that immediately makes a massive difference in terms of just it being a game.
Right.
Like the question that everyone keeps asking me, I mean, everyone. I'm talking, I was just up in the office and Eric Lacroix, who is a longtime hockey player, guy, who I didn't even know was interested in the Buffs, is asking me, what's going to make this week different? What changes? How can they turn things around? How can they compete and be in this game? To me, it starts with home field advantage. That will make a big difference right then and there.
Absolutely. We saw it in TCU, man. When they got that stop and marched down the field and it was 7-0, I mean, that place was dead silent. And they had moments where the crowd was kind of getting into it and stuff, but they were never like full throat, like screaming at the top of their lungs like Oregon was from start to finish.
Yeah.
You took them out of the game early.
Yes.
And even against Nebraska or CSU, you could tell like the crowd at Folsom was kind of tense because things weren't getting rolling early.
And those are rivalry games. Like, you can't lose those. Those are so scary.
Yeah.
I told you guys that on the postgame show. Like, I was sitting there just almost like in shock.
Yeah.
In the CSU game. So this crowd will be different.
And I know the offense needs to get off to a fast start, but I mean, you go back to TCU, man. If the defense can get you a quick 3 and out, if you can get a turnover within the first 2 drives or something like that, even a big return after they score, just anything to build momentum in your favor, this game can be a lot different.
CU has won every coin toss so far.
Yep.
They've deferred every time.
Yep.
Any thought? Would you put any thought into it against USC taking the ball first?
Sure. Why not? I mean, that's where the strength of your team is on offense. Why not throw them out there first and try to establish a tempo and establish a rhythm as opposed to hoping you don't have the defense, give up a 7-play, 75-yard touchdown drive.
Yeah, so I would support whatever decision they made. But against Oregon when they won the toss, I thought, they might take the ball here.
Yes.
And they didn't. And it obviously didn't matter one way or the other. But when Oregon just went right down the field, I mean, they ran that trap out of the shotgun like 3-4 times all the way down the field, scored. It was like, okay, now there's a lot of pressure on the offense to go out there and get this back. Your matchup, I think that everyone is looking at here is Colorado's offense versus USC's defense. To answer the question boiled down that everyone's asking me, why will this week be different? To its purest form, the offense should have more success against USC than they had against Oregon. Oregon has a better defense. USC has an interesting defense because they're giving up big plays. They're giving up runs. Scattaboo for ASU had 200 all-purpose yards, like 111 rushing yards, 79 receiving yards. So you should be able to move the ball against them better. To me, there's something to be said for maybe going out there, really nailing down your script, and going and putting a touchdown drive and put the pressure on their offense.
For sure. I mean, USC, a lot of headlines in terms of the transfer portal and guys that they brought in defensively, Bear Alexander, Christian Roland Wallace. They got some guys who are really good football players. But going back to last year, man, I couldn't help but think that USC's defense is just always going to be the same because they have philosophical and scheme issues. And it starts with the defensive coordinator, Alex Grinch, honestly.
Yeah.
No matter how much talent they have defensively, they allow points and they allow yards. Right now, as it stands in the Pac-12, they're averaging 20 points per game. That's 7th in the Pac-12. In terms of yards per game, 365. That's 8th in the Pac-12. They have held each opponent under 400 yards this season, but they give up yardage. We saw it against ASU. I mean, I don't think ASU is a world beater offensively. I mean, Kenny Dillingham's great, but they don't have the talent, I think, to go toe-to-toe with USC, yet they were still in the ball game late in. I think it was 7 points.
Yeah, it was. I mean, in the second half, they got close.
Yep.
And they made some big plays, some big individual plays, like that play that Scadaboo had down the sideline, staying up was sick. But you should have an opportunity to move this ball. Now, they give up chunks. They also get pressured, man. And that's going to be the hardest thing for CU.
Yep.
And that's where, the idea of keeping guys in and trying to do some max protect looks or whatever might work because they lead Power 5 in sacks right now.
Yeah, they lead the Power 5 in sacks. They are leading Power 5 in tackles for a loss with 41. And they're also tied for first place in the Power 5 in forced fumbles with 8. All that being said, though, man, this is a team that when you look at the Pac-12 rankings, they're 11th in the Pac-12 in terms of yards allowed on the ground, 77th overall in the FBS. So if there's a game to get your running game back on, I mean, Oregon is tough up front on both sides.
Yep.
And they've got great edges on defensively as well. So that's part of the reason why they didn't really have any productivity against Oregon. But there's an opportunity here against USC to get that running game on track.
Definitely. And hopefully Alton McCaskill is at the center of that.
Mm-hmm.
He, got some rust off the wheels last week. Hopefully they feel like he's ready to go this week. If to me, it's like, okay, he showed that he can take contact. Hopefully he didn't have swelling or anything like that would set him back after that game. But as long as everything stayed on track, I'd love to see them feature him early and often.
It's going to be a track meet. Right now, they're averaging 55 points a game. In 14 of the 18 games they've played at USC under Lincoln Riley, they've scored 40-plus points.
That's insane.
Yes.
Now, obviously, that's all with Caleb Williams.
Of course.
So it doesn't all go to Lincoln Riley, but they have the best quarterback prospect in the country.
Yep.
The reigning Heisman Trophy winner. So, yeah, I mean, this is, to me, the path to victory is offense gets back to humming.
Mm-hmm.
You basically said it. You got to score 40 points or more.
Yep.
And the defense makes some big plays.
Mm-hmm.
You are not going to shut them down.
No one can.
It's not possible.
Yeah.
You are going to have to put your hat on the ball. You're going to have to punch one out. You're going to have to catch Caleb Williams looking left and swipe one away from him. That is the path to victory, is turning the ball over, because it's just not. You're not going to get 3 and outs.
Yep.
You're not going to get goal line stands. Like, if you watch this USC offense, they're rarely even on the goal line. They're scoring from 40, 50 yards out.
Yep.
Off play action, throwing it deep to Branch or Washington or any of these. Brendan Rice. I mean, they have weapons on weapons on weapons. They have protection for their quarterback, and they have a quarterback who reads the field at an elite level. So the plan here is not to out tough them on defense. It's to get the ball away from them when you get an opportunity to.
And just the only other thing I'd add is just CU's got to be more efficient on first and second down. USC is only allowing a 32% conversion rate on third down. That's second in the Pac-12, 35th in the country. I mean, it's not world-beating, but it's pretty good. And we obviously know that's CU's biggest issue is when they get in the third and long. Shedeur's going to bail you out every now and then, but it's just it allows any defense to pin their ears back and just blitz Shedeur, go after him, and that's obviously where problems start here for the Buffs.
Yeah. Yep. The challenge is massive. The opportunity is even greater.
For sure.
Can you imagine just the reaction if Colorado were to win this game?
I will be insufferable.
Oh, man. There's not even enough paper in the world for how long the receipts are.
I know. All right. Shout out to Fubo TV, guys. The best place to watch football this football season. They also have 140-plus channels of sports shows, movies, and news. We have been victimized after this weekend. ASU, that game is on the Pac-12 network. You can get the Pac-12 network on Fubo. Sorry. We also just put out our package for the ASU game.
Yes, we did.
So if you want to come hang out with us, It's kind of similar to the TCU one. You can get the tailgate ticket package for much cheaper, I think, than any other tickets are right now.
Yeah, and we have good seats, much better than the TCU seats, even though the TCU seats weren't bad.
Yeah.
But we're in the first level this time, and those tickets are going for about $100 right now.
Mm-hmm.
If you combine it with our package, they're going to cost you about $70. So it's a
Nice.
good deal. We're basically behind. Remember when Coach Hart and I were talking about our favorite place to watch a game from?
Yeah,
The end zone
view.
A little higher up.
Yeah.
That's where we are.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited to watch from there. And they've got a nice stadium there. I like it. We got a tailgate on Mill Avenue.
Nice.
I mean,
I'm hyped, man.
we're gonna do this thing right, and it's a legit start time. 3:30 local time. It's the dream.
Amazing.
So come hang out with us. It's gonna be sick.
Yeah, I love Phoenix too. I'm excited to go back. But shout out to Fubo. Watch all your favorite college football and the NFL with Fubo. Go to www.fubotv.com/DNVR, and you can sign up for 15% off your first month of Fubo Pro. Also, shout out to FOCO, the leading manufacturer of sports and entertainment merchandise. They've got all kinds of cool stuff, guys. Bobbleheads. They've got
They just
Hawaiian
loaded
shirts.
up on Buff stuff.
Did they?
Yep.
They have the Buff overalls now too, I think.
Yep.
Go check them out. I mean, it's a great place to get a gift for a sports fan or just to deck yourself out in some more team gear. Again, tons of great stuff. Go to FOCO. They always have our back for Colorado sports, and they have yours too. Get the best gear around by using the link in our description. For all non-presale items, use the promo code DNVR, and you'll get 10% off.
Trying to find some of this new CU gear that they have on here.
Yeah, let me know what you can find. We do
legit.
have a straw hat over in the corner there.
Yep.
Yeah, Kale was wearing the Broncos overalls on Broncos game day, and they got all kinds of crazy stuff.
All right.
You ready to move on?
Yeah, I'll see if I can find anything. Nice little bucket hat. A couple different options of a bucket hat.
All right, so yesterday we talked a lot about the hate that CU's getting, a lot of the moving goalposts, and just a lot of people are feeling very comfortable taking shots at Coach Prime. And the term you use, dog whistling terms. And we saw a big one yesterday. Adam Gorney.
This is wild, dude.
The national recruiting director for Rivals and Yahoo Sports quote tweeted a Yahoo Sports tweet about Shedeur Sanders and all the Oregon drama that we're not going to get into. But he said, Deion's little son likes to talk a lot. USC receivers probably won't be hard to find this weekend. That is so wild for a national recruiting director. Could you imagine Steve Wiltfong doing that?
No. It's unbelievable. And there are in my opinion, certain positions where you just can't say things like that.
Yeah.
And that is certainly one of them. You know, what's crazy to me is this must be some sort of reaction to the fact that Rivals 247 is in a little bit with Colorado, and Rivals is not. To me, that's what this is 100%. And it's such an ugly look for the whole company. You know, like, we have friends who work there.
Yeah.
And it's like not fair, in my opinion,
No.
to them to put that company in that light with Colorado fans. So I actually got my start working for that company way back when. And to me, it's just like, you, as the recruiting coordinator, can't be saying things like this. But people are so in their feelings over this that they can't help themselves.
Yeah, it's insane. I mean, this is a guy whose job is to talk to recruits and talk to parents. Like, and you put that out there?
Yep.
Like, I don't care that it's Shiloh and Coach Prime's kid. Like, other recruits are going to see that and go, that's pretty nasty. I don't really know if I want to talk to this guy about my recruitment.
Totally. And then, like, I would guess, I have no idea, that Rivals has a pretty good in with USC, which is why he had to throw in the little USC receivers won't be hard to find thing. Like, it's just ugly, man. That's all I can really, that's the only word I can really think of, is like, that is an ugly, ugly thing to say for someone in that position.
Bucky found it.
Yeah.
He quote tweeted it. And he goes, the, quote, recruiting director for rivals, unquote, ain't he?
The weirdness of people feeling that comfortable going out there and saying stuff like that publicly is just wild.
I mean, look, we've had controversial figures in college football before. Think about Johnny Manziel, just as an example, like storylines like that. And you look at how almost everyone was kind of rooting for him. He sure had some haters and stuff too, but no one was taking shots or saying anything near as preposterous as they're saying about Coach Prime and this team.
No, especially not people in that position.
Yes.
Like, it would be one thing if this is like a talking head on TV. You know, they're always gonna have a take about everything. They're always gonna say something. But like, go through that dude's timeline and just look at like when he's like having takes about things. Yeah. Usually he's just posting news, or you know, posting things about recruits and stuff like that. It's gross.
It really is, man. Fortunately, this is our new reality, though, Ryan. Or fortunately, I guess, actually, because we're on the Coach Prime side of things.
It's a little bit of everything, huh?
It's been an adventure. The other big news, non-Buff related, that came out today: Mel Tucker officially fired with cause from Michigan State. They basically get out of that horrendous contract that they used to steal him from CU. And now we're seeing decommitments left and right. I think a player's already entered the portal from Michigan State.
Yep.
It's all coming unraveled.
Yeah.
Karma.
Crazy, man. Crazy. What a fall from, I don't know if the word is grace, but a fall from the sky. You know, Mel Tucker gets the largest contract, I believe, at the time college coach had ever got. He surpassed Nick Saban at the time. And you want to know something, speaking of ugly, that's ugly about this whole situation?
Tell me.
If Mel Tucker was winning,
oh my God,
we would not be here right now.
Nope.
And that does not have anything to do with what happened and what went down. Like, obviously, all that stuff is gross. But the ugly side of it is, man, you know, if you're not winning and you're making that much money, you're highly exposed. No pun intended. It's just, you know, it's a bad situation. I really feel for the people involved.
Yeah.
But that's ugly side of college football right there.
And he's made it ugly too. Just this back and forth between him and the university. Obviously, Brett McMurphy came out with it when this when these allegations and this sexual harassment suit originally came out. I think it was after Nebraska, so it was almost 2 weeks ago at this point. And Mel Tucker's just turned it up. Like, he's fighting for every dollar on that contract, and it's just gotten real ugly and nasty. So
yeah, for sure. And it's a crazy situation.
It's rough.
From a football at Colorado standpoint, there's going to be a lot of players available from Michigan State.
And they dodged the bullet, too. And it ended up with Coach Prime.
Totally. Yeah, I mean, it's all paths lead to Coach Prime, right?
Yep.
And you wouldn't have thought at the time, when Carl Durrell was standing there emotionless on the sidelines last season, but in the end, things sure seemed to work out.
It's just amazing when you go back and look at the butterfly effect of everything and how we ended up at this point. And like, sometimes you really do have to hit rock bottom to get back on your way up.
It's good news for the Rockies.
And the Broncos.
Thank God for the Nuggets, Abs, and Buffs.
That's true.
The Rapids are damn near rock bottom as well.
That's another one. All right. Shout out to DraftKings Sportsbook. Right now, you can turn $5 into $200 in bonus bets instantly. We need a pick of the week, Ryan. Buffs plus 21.5. Are we taking it?
That's not my pick of the week.
Okay.
My pick of the week is going to be, let me just make sure I get the numbers right here. Team props. Colorado team total points over 25.5.
All right. I love it.
Yep. Offense gets back on track this week. More matchups out there. Shedeur gets a little bit more of a rhythm. They score points this week.
I wish we could actually bet on college football players here, or like.
I know.
It's ridiculous.
Team total or like props on
A
players.
little SGP or something.
That'd be fun. It would be really fun.
Heisman odds even. We didn't even have that. It's crazy. But football is more fun when you're in on the action. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Sign up with code DNVR, and new customers can bet just $5 to get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, with code DNVR. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY to 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. Licensee partner, Golden Nugget Lake Charles in Louisiana. 21 or older, varies by jurisdiction, void in Ontario. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms for eligibility, terms, and responsible gambling resources. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Then shout out to us. Consider becoming a DNVR diehard and get all the perks that come with it. You get a free shirt at sign up, 20% off merch, always exclusive diehard merch, 20% off all events. That means our tailgates. You get a physical diehard card, and you get access to our diehards only Discord. Tons of more exclusive stuff to come down the pipeline, and more tailgates and events on the way. So head on over to DNVR.com and sign up to become a diehard today. All right. We talked yesterday about 5 stars coming to Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
We have another one.
One in, one out, huh?
I guess so, man.
It's like the club.
It really is. Jordan Davidson, and I need to pull it up, but I'm pretty sure we've talked about this guy before. If I'm not mistaken, he's from Mater Dei.
It sounds right to me.
But this is a 5-star running back. Yep, Mater Dei, Walnut Creek, California. 28th overall player in the 2025 recruiting class. He's going to be in town this weekend for USC. He has a quote from Adam Friedman of Rivals. He said, "I'm going to go to the USC game. I saw the list of people who were supposed to be there, and it's pretty crazy. I know that DJ Khaled is going to be there. LeBron and Bronny too. There are a lot of guys."
I just laugh. Like, I love just this world that we live in. We're going to have DJ Khaled on the sidelines doing the Shedeur.
The Shedeur.
Yeah.
Win with us or watch us win.
I love DJ Khaled so much. It's crazy because he had such a come up during the early Snapchat story days, and then he kind of went away for a while. And for whatever reason, like this summer, he came back into my life.
Yep.
With like all of his golfing videos and stuff, and I'm just
Let's
like, I
go
needed
golfing.
this. Yes, I was like, I needed this back, dude. I just love. He brings so much joy into my life when he's making his silly ass videos.
I agree, man. I loved him back in the day, and he kind of fell off. So to see the same videos kind of being made, and now it's about Shedeur, instantly followed back again.
Yeah, exactly. It's so funny. But well, how do you feel about that quote?
It sounds a little clout chasing.
Well, and this is the thing that everyone's using against Colorado, right? Like, whenever someone says they're visiting, there's someone in the comments saying, yeah, they're just visiting because they want to meet Offset or Lil Wayne or whoever's going to be on the sidelines that week. And I think a lot of that is BS. But then you see a quote like that where he basically only talked about who was going to be there. Mm-hmm. And it just like, I don't know. Maybe if you're Coach Prime, you look at that as that's fine. Get him in the door.
Yeah, by any
whatever
means necessary.
It takes.
Yep.
And give me a chance to close. And if that's the case, then you'll take those opportunities. But it is a little weird when it's like, oh, I'm going. Have you seen who else is going to be there? I got to be there too.
Right.
So it's a little bit of both columns for me.
So just looking at his 247 Sports page, going back to the 2021 season, so when he was a freshman, I mean, this is just what's reported on 247. I think he's only taken 4 unofficial visits, though.
Okay.
So this will be his 5th.
Nice.
He's a 2025 recruit, so we're still a far way out. But, I mean, being one of the first 5 just schools for him to visit, this is a 5-star, top 30 player in the country, like, still goes a long way, I think, in my book.
Absolutely. I mean, It goes all the way back to really early on. I think it was an On3 reporter who said it's a numbers game for Colorado. If you can get all these 5 stars to visit, then you got a chance to get a couple of them. And, I mean, no one else is getting more than a couple of them.
Right.
Like, Alabama and Georgia are still only getting a couple of them. Now, they might be getting 4 or 5. But, you know, the big thing right now that everyone's saying is 95% of 5 stars are already committed. Like, Colorado's not going to be able to get in on them. It's like, are we new here? Like, guys flip all the time.
Yep. All it takes is one visit out here.
Exactly. So you just got to get in the door and get as many of these guys to stand on that sideline as you possibly can. And, I mean, if you were to get 2 5 stars, that would be remarkable.
Yeah.
So, you know, 2, if you're able to get more than that or you're able to get 1, it's still a dub. Get as many guys around as you can.
I mean, Jordan Seaton was just here 2 weeks ago for the CSU game. The top rated as an interior offensive lineman. He plays left tackle at IMG. He sounded interested. McChesney kind of talked about it. Kobe Black, the 5-star cornerback. We haven't talked about him in a while. He hasn't set a commitment date yet, but he had a quote come out today. Said, I'm still trying to make sure I'm 100% on my commitment. I don't want to decommit and commit somewhere else. I want to make sure I'm making the right decision. CU is when it is in his top 6. I think he's already come out here. Kobe Black, the 5-star corner.
Nice.
Texas A&M, Oregon, Bama, LSU, and CU in that list. That'd be Coach Prime's 3rd straight 5-star cornerback, which is outrageous. Yeah. Who else? Ryan Wingo. I mean, I know yesterday we talked about him not coming, but he's saying he's going to come back for sure, at least one more time. It may be when the season's over in December, but he's interested. He wants to come back.
Yep.
I mean,
you had the Alabama defensive lineman.
Yeah, Beeman, I think, right? Yeah. Yep. And then obviously Bryce Underwood. I mean, he's going around kind of taking the tour right now and everything, but I think he's scheduled to commit in like January.
Yep.
And he's taking the rounds. I wouldn't be surprised if he comes back.
Good things about Bryce Underwood.
So have I.
And what he thought about his visit.
So have I. Who else? We talked about Jordan Ochoa yesterday. Jeremiah Hoffman. I think he's a local kid. He plays wide receiver really fast. He's coming back for his 3rd visit already this season. He's been here for every other home game.
He just wants to come to the games.
Yeah.
It's his way of getting season tickets.
And then 2026 modern day wide receiver Caden Dixon Wyatt, 2026. So he's a sophomore this year. 6'2", 180. He's coming this weekend.
Wow. Let's go.
So maybe, I don't know. I mean, Brandon Baker just committed. We may not see him, but it sounds like the modern day kids are getting the invite this weekend.
Brandon Baker, see you later.
That's what it is, right?
Yep.
It's always see you later. Bryce Underwood at Michigan. I know he went to Penn State, I think, last weekend, too.
He said Bryce Underwood is all Michigan.
Oh, all Michigan?
We'll see.
I don't know about that right now.
We will see.
Okay. This episode of DNVR Buffs Podcast is presented by Illegal Pete's. Shout out to Illegal Pete's, man. Check out their new queso pen.
This is a real thing.
It's a real thing. The original plan was to create an infused queso edible. There's still some science to figure out on that recipe. So they have made an infused queso pen, THC cartridge, if you will.
Yeah, I've been seeing all sorts of people in this building hitting that on the weekends.
Yeah, that's true. It's available in select Denver area dispensaries from September 20th through Halloween.
I also had to double check on this. It is not cheese flavored weed.
That's good to know.
Apparently there's a strain called cheese, which is used in this mix. Because I was like, that sounds kind of whack. But no, not cheese flavored weed.
It's a collaboration between Illegal Pete's and O-Pen. Customers who purchase one of their cartridges can bring the box into any Illegal Pete's location and redeem a free chips and queso. Shout out Illegal Pete's. I love you guys.
God, their chips and queso are so good.
I know. Then Shady Rays. Block out all the haters and take on the summit gear built to last. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered for the bright fall weather ahead. Durable frames, extremely clear polarized optics. I love my Shady Rays. I can't say enough good things about them. Mine are in Broncos colors too, so that's awesome. But yeah, I need to get a new pair actually, and I think
pair great with the bag you're gonna put over your head to watch the Broncos on Sunday.
Oh man, I'm supposed to go to a game against the Chiefs this year. Yeah, having second thoughts about that one now.
You know what? This weekend will tell us a lot.
Oh man,
I'm just saying if they lose this one, then it's like okay, full on tank season. If they win it, then it's like okay, well now you have the Jets next week. You can get back to 2-3 and scrap your way to some somewhat respectable shitty season.
Am I a bad fan if I say I kind of hope they lose?
No, sadly you should be for saying that in week 4, but the way that they've looked so far, it's like you'd almost just rather start tanking.
Anyway, shout out to Shady Rays. Go to shadyrays.com or the Park Meadows Mall. Use that code DNVR. You'll get 50% off 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself. The Shades rated 5 stars by over 250,000 people.
Speaking of Coach, oh no, because they'll be in Chicago. Okay, I was gonna say. Speaking of Coach Prime's guys, maybe Sean Payton is on the sidelines this week watching one of his future quarterbacks.
There you go. He needs one.
Maybe George Payton though.
I'd rather him not. All right, what's up, chat? Guys, hit that thumbs up button. Also, subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcast or Spotify. We'd appreciate your 5-star reviews as well. What's up, Chris? He's asking if DNVR is traveling to any other away games.
All of them, except for probably Washington State.
It's a Friday game, too.
Yeah, Washington State might not make sense for us for a myriad of reasons. But... those are our guys over there.
I'm good.
We could go see our guy Cam Ward.
Yeah.
Anyways.
And Ron Stone, right?
Ron Stone, yeah. We play some pickleball. By the way, pickleball squad undefeated so far this new season.
What's your team name?
DNVR.
Oh.
So we will be at Arizona State. We'll be at UCLA.
And Utah.
We'll probably be at Utah, yeah.
Can't wait.
We're all going over to Jake's parents' house for Thanksgiving dinner.
Hell yeah, man. They'd love to have you guys. Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. Don Juan, who do y'all think will become our big rivals once we hit the Big 12 next year? TCU, Utah, another school?
TCU would be a fun one.
That is a good one.
UCF, a little black and gold battle.
Yep, the battle of the black and gold.
Team with a real national championship versus team with a fake one.
Mm-hmm.
Kansas State, there's some history there. Iowa State, there's some history there. So there's a couple options.
I'd say TCU is the leader in the clubhouse now.
Yep. Oklahoma State, like they're losing their biggest rival. Colorado's obviously been searching for a rival forever. So.
Right.
When I say for a rival forever, I mean in conference.
Yeah.
Never established one in the Pac-12.
Super chat from Justin Brooks. Thank you, man. Listening from Alabama. My son is in the hospital. Keep him in your prayers. Prayers up.
Man. Damn, man.
The Buffs will bounce back. Hashtag I believe. Yeah, we're thinking of you. Appreciate the super chat, though, man.
Everyone send good vibes to Justin and his family.
Let him know. Luis, did Shiloh practice today? We didn't talk to coaches today, so honestly, I don't really know what happened.
We'll probably maybe be able to tell from well off. I'm sure it's already up.
I mean, just from talking to Neely, Shiloh's been around the facility and stuff.
Yep.
He seems to be okay.
I don't know how that works in terms of getting hit in the kidney, and
right,
which is what we assume happened, and what kind of complications come from that. And bet you he's got a big old bruise.
Yeah.
We'll see.
At least his liver isn't lacerated.
Yeah.
Cover song challenge. Do you feel differently about the offensive scheme? With no running game, we can't run those screens, digs, and comebacks. The D's just sitting on those quick plays.
Yeah, so I've seen a lot of criticism for Sean Lewis this week.
Yeah, me too.
We talked about this on the post-game show. I think it's unfounded.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever the offense isn't moving the ball, there's going to be a couple different people who are going to be blamed, right? The quarterback a lot of times, or the offensive coordinator. Like those are the two people who are going to get the most flack. Everyone knows Shedeur is him, so they're not going after him. So in turn, Sean Lewis is the person who makes the most sense to be criticized. I don't think it's right. To me, it comes down to the offensive line.
Exactly.
And I'm not like they were outmatched last week. They just were. And we talked about that in the game. It's like when you lose the trenches as badly as they lost them, there's nothing you can do.
Yep.
You can't run the ball if your offensive line's outmatched by their defensive line. You can't pass the ball if your offensive line's outmatched by their defensive line. And that was one of those things. It's just like there's no play call that fixes that, especially when, you can try quick game, you can try screens, but that's what they're sitting on. The only, I guess, like exposed part of Oregon's defense in that game was over the top because they were coming down so fast.
Yeah.
And guess what? They couldn't protect Shedeur long enough for him to get the ball down the field.
Yeah.
So there's no magic play call that saves you from what they were up against last week. And they're going to be up against some challenges like that moving forward. To me, it's like the offensive line has to dig in deeper and find a way to protect Shedeur.
I agree. They're down their best player, too.
Yep.
They haven't been able to establish a running game, partly because they haven't had Alton, really. I don't know. I'm not going to get too up in arms over Sean Lewis. Like, we have questions about, like, some stuff and everything, but there's no question that he's a great offensive mind and is still the unquestioned leader of this offense. I mean, I don't know. It's just too early for all that to be calling for people's jobs.
Yep.
We can't be doing that.
The one thing that I think they could do a better job of is giving the run game a real chance.
Yeah.
You can't just run it a couple times and it not work and just say, okay, it's not working today. We got to go away from it entirely. But it hasn't worked and they're down big in that game. And it's just like, well, it's almost like you're throwing away a down at that point, trying to run the ball.
Right.
That's where I'm just like, man, what if they got the ball first this week and had a couple big pops in the run game and got a play action pass going to give Shedeur some time to push it down the field? It would make a huge difference. I kind of want to see Jimmy get some outside looks.
Yeah.
Obviously he's dangerous in the slot, but if you're going to get inside pressure and one-on-ones on the outside, like you don't have to protect it that long if you have that fast of a guy out there.
Yeah, for sure.
So get Jimmy on the outside and see if he can beat someone off a snap and just let Shedeur throw it out there and let him run under it. That's one thing, like, we can all critique Sean Lewis all day long, but the man knows what he's doing. He has called offense at a high level.
Yep.
In college, you have to win on the line. Got to find a way to win on the line. Got to find a way to protect too.
I mean, that's the only thing I'll add. I mean, he is who he is, man. Go look at what he did at Kent State. Literally one of the most efficient offenses in the country. And he was able to establish a system there. Like, this is year one of this. Who knows what the future holds for him if he goes elsewhere. But if he doesn't, he gets to build upon this year, and it's going to be better. I have no questions about that next year.
Yep.
That was a great comment by Keaton, by the way. That's dope.
What was it?
Said something like his daughter loves the intro to the show, and she says it. How dope is that?
I love your guys' love for the intro.
It's so cool. Jay McNeil.
I want to get Coach Prime into the intro. Like, keep the song. Everyone loves the song.
I know.
But let's see if we can edit it a little bit to get some more. Well, actually, we should just make that. No one else uses that intro anymore. Everyone else moved on.
Yeah,
So we
exactly.
should just make the whole thing. Keep the song. Make all
Let's go.
the imagery Buffs.
I mean, doesn't Nuggets and Avs have their own intro and stuff?
There was a time, but now I think everyone's using that one that we
The
played
one
that
base
everyone
one?
hated.
Oh, well.
No one else got complaints about it, but hey, that's what I love about our listeners. Attention to detail.
Yep.
Coach Prime would be proud.
Jay McNeil's asking, are y'all going to link up with the PHNX guys for the Arizona game? They've been talking a lot of noise. They're coming here for Arizona.
They're talking about Arizona State.
I mean, we'll be out there.
Yeah. I've got some receipts.
Oh, I can't wait for those shows. Jay McNeil with the super chat too. And he mentions they've been talking noise since the start.
They
have.
Sure have.
Yes, they have. And they were quick to throw stuff out there on Saturday as well.
Yep. It's not they. It's Totri.
It's Totri. Yeah.
He's the only one who's actually a hater.
I love it. Anything else?
All right, man. It's a lot of action in the chat today. Not as many thumbs up though. What's going on, guys? Hit us with the thumbs up.
Hit that thumbs up button. I've seen Countdown Timer mention 5-man defensive line a lot. That's like a complete scheme shift. Like, it seems like a good idea, but man, I don't think they have the bodies. One, and I don't think they've been coached to do something like that.
No, that stuff is hard to do. Like, just to give you an example of what happens if you try that, you know what the Broncos' big adjustment was last week?
Yeah.
They wanted to run a 4-3. They've been running a 4-3 for like a decade.
3-4.
Or sorry, they've been running a 3-4 for like a decade.
Yeah.
They came out and said, let's throw a 4-3 at the Dolphins. Mm-hmm. How'd that work?
Not well. Almost allowed the most
historically
points of all
bad.
time. Yeah.
Historically bad. It worked out. Not to say that's what would happen here, but it is making those level of adjustments is difficult. And to be fair, I don't think defensive line is the place where you were trying to get more of those guys on the field.
Right.
You know, you have to stop the run, but coming into the season, the idea was get as many defensive backs on the field as you can because that is your strongest position.
Yep.
We didn't talk a lot about Jaquez. I thought he had a nice intro game.
He did.
So hopefully he, keeps getting more and more healthy, keeps playing better.
Yeah,
and better.
I mean, seems like he came out of the game pretty much as healthy as he could possibly be. And look, when you're down Travis, any help you can get at corner is going to be great depth and just a great help. So,
any news on Carter Stoutmire?
None yet.
Okay. Angela says, "Do we see Dylan at wide receiver to open up the run game?" You could if you move Jimmy outside for a package, you could put Dylan in the slot.
I mean, it all hinges on Alton, I think, really. Just having that back there who can do it all and allow Dylan to move out.
Yeah.
But they run empty a lot, too. Dylan's split out a lot. I know he's not in the slot, but he's split out quite often.
I haven't seen Sean Lewis dig into his bag in the run game. Mm-hmm. We're essentially seeing zone runs out of the shotgun. Some are working when Dylan gets outside. Some of them aren't. You've seen Savion have a little bit of success in those runs. Why not dig a little deeper in terms of getting motion, trying to get people out of there? I hate to keep bringing them up, but go watch the Dolphins runs from last week. I mean, just things of beauty. Art just had the whole defense on a string, guessing what was going to what they thought were going to happen. I think you can use motion and fake end arounds and things like that to try and open things up in the run game.
Oh, for sure. I guess I have been a little surprised by that. They don't run as much motion as I guess I thought they would have, given the speed they have.
Yeah. It would be nice. Be nice to see them try and experiment with some of that stuff. And I know the comments are like, why are you shilling for Sean Lewis? I mean, the guy is a genius offensive mind.
Yes.
You got to give him some time here to try and figure this thing out. And again, there is no play for your offensive line getting smoked.
And reality is we're stuck with him. Either way, he's going to coach the rest of this season.
And I still
after.
Look at it as you have the opportunity to have him as the offensive
Of course,
player.
yes, of course.
I'm so far from being out on Sean Lewis. It's crazy.
No, for sure. I don't know what's going on with Slusher. What else did we have, Alyssa? What's up, Brady? If Shiloh is out, do you think Cam moves back to safety and Quez J in the star? That's where Quez was playing. In camp.
I also wouldn't be surprised if Rod Ward gets some playing time in place of Shiloh.
Yeah.
To keep that speed out there. Shiloh, obviously Shiloh brings some great closing speed. That's one of the things that Rod Ward does well too.
Jaden Milner-Jones has been on the field a bit as well.
Yep.
So I really hope he's healthy, though. We can't afford another injury in this secondary.
Not a bad idea with using Javon in the slot a little bit.
Yeah. Try to get some matchups.
In between with tight end, make him feel like a tight end.
Yeah. I mean, you can't run true 12 personnel, so put him and Michael out there. And
why not?
Yeah. I mean, you got to try and create matchup problems in any way you can at this point without Travis.
Totally.
So, that it?
I think that's it.
All right, we'll be back tomorrow, guys. Sorry a bit later today. Had some business up in Boulder. But we'll be back tomorrow.
Yes,
Go
sir.
Buffs.
Let's go Buffs.